Hey guys, it's Will.
And I'm Mike. Hello.
It's First Watch. The show's part review, part reaction. Hey, guess what? It's Nemesis 4 time. So we've done Nemesis 1, 2, and 3, and now we are on to Nemesis 4. And so I will say, right up, before we get into this, I love this movie. I don't know if you...
I like it better than 2 and 3.
I love this
It's
movie.
probably my second favorite in this series after 1.
Yeah,
but I don't,
definitely.
I don't
For
think
me,
it's a
this
great
is like,
movie.
This like redeemed the whole
It's
series.
very weird though, which if
well,
you like,
you don't
weird,
think it's a great? Of course, it's not a great movie. It's not like Children of Paradise or like Lawrence of Arabia.
Have you even seen Lawrence of Arabia?
No.
Oh, what a hog!
Yes!
Just hogging.
No, but you know, like when people talk about great movies,
Yeah,
Lawrence of Arabia is like
It's a
the
great
main one they mention as a great movie, and I have seen Children of Paradise, which is why they consider
But we
it the best
digress.
French
This
film
is
ever
not
made.
Lawrence of Arabia. If you're wondering, if you're watching this movie to see if this is Lawrence of Arabia, it's not.
It's not. It's not even
Close.
Lawrence of Arabia,
Close,
which
though.
is also a classic.
Yes.
So this was written and directed by Albert Pune. This movie came out in 1996, which
Mm-hmm.
is the same year, I think, as Nemesis 3. And the setup behind this movie is really interesting. So this takes place in Bratislava. Well, it doesn't take place in Bratislava. They filmed it in Bratislava, right? Which is in Slovakia.
It doesn't take place anywhere. I don't think they mention it.
So Sue Price plays the same character that she played in Nemesis 2 and 3. But this takes place like years in the future. The war between the robots and the humans is over, and she is working as a contract killer for this like genetically enhanced like cyborg type dude.
Yeah, just killing people.
And so she gets this job in Eastern Europe, and so they go over there, and it's a setup basically where they're gonna. So she has to defend herself from all these people who are coming to kill her because there's this big contract on her.
Yeah.
Right, and so Albert Pune said in the director's commentary of this movie, which I watched, that he made this movie called Adrenaline for Bob Weinstein, and they required a bunch of reshoots, and that movie was shot in Bratislava. So he went back to Bratislava to do the reshoots for that, and he was able to somehow cobble together, and it's a little unclear to me how this happened based on his director's commentary, because he kind of like leaves like the full trail of information out and just gives you like the kind of the broad strokes. But he was able to put together around $200,000 for this movie, either from money that was given to the reshoots of Adrenaline or from another financier. And so he
just snuck it in.
He got Sue Price to come to Bratislava. Everyone else in this movie is from the cast of the Adrenaline, which he was doing the reshoots for. And they shot it concurrently, and it all takes place more or less in one little open square area. That is really cool location because it's like this ruined. It's like this old square where there's a big open area with like cobblestones and stuff, and these big, like old, beautiful old buildings, but they've all crumbled. Yeah, so it's like a really cool area that they filmed it in, and So Albert Pune said, and we will talk about this, that when he got the money for this movie, and he's like, okay, I want to do a real cyberpunk movie instead of like the desert thing in the last one, right? And in the commentary for 4, he says that in 2 and 3 he actually wanted to show no architectural structures at all. Like he just wanted it to be like all desert landscapes, right? There are some buildings in those movies, but he's like in this one he really wanted to like show the cities, show the cyberpunk environment, really go like full bore into it. But he also said he wanted to make like a technology and muscle fetish movie.
That's
basically
exactly what it is.
It was basically like a smut film. Well, not smut. What's the word? What is snuff? Snuff is the one where they kill people. So it is like smut, right? Yeah, it's like a smut film for people who like muscles and technology.
Yeah, exactly. That's like exactly what it is, because she's like an enhanced human cyborg. I don't know what she is.
She's a human
at
who's
this
like
point.
genetically enhanced, but she's also had at this point in time she's had body modifications.
Yeah. So she's almost like a cyborg at this point, and she's a contract killer, and so this is like her last kill because she's getting sloppy or whatever, and she goes to this place. Her thing is, I guess, having sex with her victims before she kills them.
That's how she coerces them into like hanging out with her. So she pretends to be a prostitute or something like that.
And so she kills the guy, and it turns out he's the wrong person. He's like the son of a big criminal, and now there's like a huge price on her head, and it's all about
that scene is weird. Like he spits that net thing at her. Do you remember that? And
like he has modifications too, and he's like oozing like green goo.
Yeah,
and stuff.
this is just gross and weird.
She uses like talons to like rip into her.
That's a different guy.
Oh, that's different. But like that happens too, and it's like instead of like red blood, it's like green,
weird,
blue, and so you can definitely see there like she's modified. I'll let you talk about your favorite scene in the movie. I'll leave that up for you.
I have 2 favorite scenes in this movie.
But she, Sue Price, who's like a former Miss Olympia and is a bodybuilder, and she's like really, really buff and stuff. She spends like 80% of this movie naked.
She's just naked.
Like the whole time.
Yeah.
There's one scene where she's talking to this person who's coming after her, and they're literally talking for a good 15 minutes.
He does like that big monologue,
and she's just standing there in this square, completely naked. He's just like staring at her. There's like no shame, no attempt to cover up, and like Albert Pune could have filmed it like waist up or something. Nope, wide shot of just standing there naked, and it's like, all right,
It's
why not?
awesome though.
I mean, that's exactly the kind of film he wanted to make, and that's what he did. And
well, and he talks a lot in the director's commentary for this one and for Nemesis 3 about how much of what he was doing in terms of the finances of it was predicated on the idea that they would be able to sell these movies to European markets, because I guess like the VHS, because I wouldn't imagine these played in a ton of theaters.
No.
But like the home video release of these movies in Europe was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's how they were able to get the money to make them. And so
that's how they were profitable.
but like the nudity, the violence, the weird techno sex stuff, like all of that is like, let's give these people what they want, basically.
But like at least this was filmed like, to me, competently, like a film. Like the third one with all the flashbacks and the flashes, it was hard to watch. This was like, whatever you say, it looks like a movie. It's filmed like a movie. You can at least
I genuinely
there's a beginning,
like
middle, and end.
Like I know that this is not like a good movie in whatever kind of like film school sense you want to say it. So
I know you're dying.
I have two favorite. Can I talk about both of them?
Talk about both.
Okay,
of them. Go on.
So there's a sex scene in this movie where Sue
One
Price,
of many.
Sue Price has sex with the guy who's like her point of contact for her agency,
yeah.
right? And who I think, if I'm not mistaken, is played by Christopher Guest's brother, who was in Adrenaline, the other movie,
and
so
he's be in this movie.
So they're like talking about having sex, and like he's getting her like all riled up, and so they go to have sex, and he rips his shirt off, and his belly button is like this metal bump, basically, and there's all these close-up shots of her stomach going like sucking in and making noises and stuff, and then he starts to like vibrate, and this metal penis thing comes out of his belly button. Then her belly button opens up, and it goes into her, and that's how they have sex. You're like, what is going on? It's just vile, and he's like, and I don't know if it's because it's all fake that they can show really graphically like the penetration and the thrusting and stuff because there's no actual flesh involved. The second scene where I was like, "What is happening?" And I texted Mike because we didn't watch this movie together.
Exactly when I
but I texted him. I was like, "You have to." She's getting ready to kill this guy, and she's fighting with him, or she's like holding his head in her hands.
I think she's killing him, and she's holding his head.
And her nipples open up, and these giant spikes come out, and she impales him through the eyes on her chest. And I was like, what is happening?
There's no setup for this, by the way.
No one ever tells you that she has metal in her body that's going to come out. And it's like, how does something that long come straight out of her body? They're like Wolverine's claws.
They're long.
And she's not a thick person, so it's like, like, where are they coming from? It's so good.
Anyway, I would say the movie's worth seeing just for that.
And if you like cyberpunk and like, but obviously this is not the Matrix.
No.
But like if you like low budget sci-fi, cyberpunk, like that kind of stuff, some of the makeup effects reminded me of Buffy, like the vampire kind of like.
It's not bad. It's definitely an improvement on the last two. So.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this. This is the MVD Rewind Collection release, so we'll put the link in the description of the video to where you can go and pick this up. It's a Blu-ray. It's got a whole bunch of bonus features on it that are always fun to watch because Albert Pune, who's the writer and director of this, like I said, is always interesting to hear him talk about his movies because he's very, very honest about them, and he points out stuff that he doesn't think is good or like they didn't have enough money for or whatever. So I'm Will.
And I'm Mike.
And we will see you next time.